Arsenal bounced back with a 3-0 victory over Forest with Ange Postecoglou at the helm. Liverpool continue winning ways in dramatic fashion. Manchester is blue. Week 4 of the Premier League season had some fantastic games, but Jacob, we had Champions League midweek, game week 5 coming up. What was your takeaway here from the Champions League, especially from Manchester City in the week?
A little bit weird playing on a Thursday for Champions League, especially ahead of such an important game this weekend against Arsenal. But it was so good to see this man back at the Etihad. We're chanting his name in the 80th minute. It was great to hear that around the Etihad again. He only got to play about 25 minutes because he subbed off after that red card. But just good to be back to winning ways and to start off the Champions League run with a win after not doing so good in the league stages, whatever we're calling it these days, last season. Holland's just on fire. Great game all around.
Yeah, we'll see if he can keep that goal scoring form for the weekend. This is Twin Football. Thank you very much for joining us. Today's episode is all about this weekend's fixtures, week 5 of the Premier League. So let's go ahead and dive straight into it. And we kick off with the 247th edition of the Merseyside Derby. This one is at Anfield. Since 2017, the away team has failed to win a single game in the Merseyside Derby. If you're a home team, you are either picking up 1 point or picking up all 3 points. And in this one, in Liverpool's case, it's going to be all 3 points. Liverpool, 5 consecutive games of late winners from the 80th minute on so far to start the season. Their games have been filled with either red cards, late winners, or both. And we saw that against Atletico Madrid in the midweek as well, picking up a Virgil van Dijk header to take their first win in the competition, starting off where they left off last year. I'm excited for Everton. Jack Grealish has been on fire since joining. Tyler Dibbling has joined, hasn't gotten a start. Dwight McNeil has always been battling injury, hasn't gotten a start yet for Everton. I would love to see the three of them pushing forward at some point during this game to try and get a late equalizer, because I think they can all on the dribble cause Liverpool problems, especially Konate, who I have not been impressed with so far this season. But Merseyside is red. 3 points Liverpool in the opener.
I can agree with that result. Liverpool's past 4 matches, they had a Newcastle winning goal in the 90 plus 10. That Szoboszlai free kick goal in the 83rd minute to beat Arsenal. Salah with a penalty in the 90 plus 5 to beat Burnley. And then in the Champions League, Van Dijk in the 90 plus 2 with a header to beat Atletico Madrid and to send Diego Simeone into a frenzy. Like on one end, it's like they can't keep getting away with this, but on another end, it's just they find ways to win games. That's what champions do. It's hard to pick against them right
Yeah,
now.
see, that's the storyline, right? If they weren't defending Premier League champions, if they weren't the favorites to go on and do it again or go on and go deep in Europe, you would just say that they are not settled. They're not
Yeah,
structured with all the new players coming in. But because of that, you say it's a championship mentality. It's a
right.
what winners do. And no team in the history of
Arsenal
the
would be
Premier
getting
League.
criticized.
Yeah, Arsenal would be getting criticized if they were doing that. They can't, they're supposed to be this defensive powerhouse. And with the way Konate is playing, that's why I was very scared that Mark Gahey was going to sign over Isak. Isak hopefully will get the start here, so we'll get to see him full 90 minutes after getting 60 minutes against Atletico Madrid. But I would be way more fearful of Liverpool if they signed Mark Gahey, because they would have solidified that back line, and the attack, they're going to score chances with or without Isak. We've already seen it so far this year. So they are vulnerable. I do expect Everton to score, which will be exciting and great. Maybe even a Jack Grealish continues his fine form. But yeah, Liverpool definitely all 3 points.
Next up, we got Burnley taking on Nottingham Forest. Burnley are coming off that tough 1-0 loss against Liverpool. They held on for so long and then conceded in the 95th minute to a kind of soft handball penalty. Obviously had to be called. He put his arm in a weird spot, but it's at the corner of the box. It just
Yeah,
feels
tough.
bad when it's almost like 20 yards away from goal and you get a game-winning penalty out of it, but had to be called. You can't really feel bad for them either because they weren't really trying to attack at all. They were just begging for a 0-0, and Liverpool's just knocking on the door the whole game. So in the end, fair result, but would have liked to see it happen in a slightly different way. Nottingham Forest tough start to Ange Postecoglou's return as Premier League manager. Losing to Arsenal at Emirates was a bad result, but it was kind of understandable. But then losing midweek to a championship team in Swansea City is just a
And in
bad look.
the way they lost by being Spursy and giving up 3 goals, like,
Spurs.
that is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. I'm still rooting for Ange, but tough to say that I agree with that managerial change so far. I thought Nuno was great for this side. He got so much out of the team, and I love Ange and I respect him a lot as a manager, but it just doesn't seem like he's the right guy for Nottingham Forest right now. Still early days, but tough days. I'm going draw here.
A draw. Wow. I think Big Ange will take anything right now after the way that they've started the
Yeah.
first 2 games, conceding so many goals like that. And Burnley, I think, would take that as well. I mean, Burnley down to 10 men against Liverpool. They had to try and hold on. They definitely will probably feel hard done by a couple games against Liverpool and United this year. So getting a point to get them back on track is a good result for them. Spurs definitely winning that managerial trade-off here. Thomas Frank getting his first Champions League win against Villarreal here in the midweek. They look to continue their fine form as they currently sit technically third on goal difference in the Premier League as they travel to the South Coast to take on Brighton. Both of these teams have played Bournemouth and lost by 1, and played City, scoring 2 goals and winning in 2 of their last 3 games. So a kind of good comparison in terms of the teams that they have been going against. Tottenham is going to probably be more excited for this one because of the fact that they got the win against Villarreal. Solanke is back in training, even though he is ruled out for this one, but definitely picking up. Van der Ven and Romero will start again. This will be the 5th game in the Premier League season that they started together. They only did it 11 times last season, so that's been a great partnership, getting stronger and stronger. So I actually like Tottenham to go to Brighton and pick up all 3 points at the Amex and continue their fine form and possibly push here if Liverpool were to drop points to go top of the table after 5 game weeks.
Yeah, what a start for Thomas Frank with this Tottenham team. You love to see it. I think it does rest on Van de Ven not tearing his hamstring. Hopefully stay on the pitch. Next up, we got West Ham taking on Crystal Palace at the London Stadium. The last 3 Premier League games for the Hammers have all been blowouts. They've only been on the right side of one of those blowouts. They got smashed by Tottenham. They got smashed by Chelsea. I thought Graham Potter was out of the hot seat after a big win against Forest at the City Ground, but then he sat right back down and got handled by Tottenham at the London Stadium. They will be missing Souček in this one after a nasty red card. I don't think he's that type of player, but that was a nasty challenge.
Yeah.
Callum Wilson needs to start this game up top for me. Paqueta starting that number 9 role last game was a weird managerial decision. He is a number 10. Put him in the number 10. He'll feed Callum Wilson. They've already linked up a couple times this season. I really think that was a great signing, and he's going to be a good number 9 for them. Crystal Palace are coming off a 0-0 draw to Sunderland. They will be disappointed that they couldn't get a result after managing 14 shots in that one. Palace just doesn't seem to do well when they're the team holding possession and are asked to come at the other team. They much prefer being on the counterattack, and I think they will return to their more counterattack play style in this one. One of only 3 remaining teams alongside Liverpool and Chelsea to be undefeated so far in this young season. They have to find their new number 10, though, after losing Elise and Eza in the last couple years. Those guys have so much creative talent, and they really need to find a guy to step up and be that playmaker for them. It's just hard to score goals without a proper number 10 to play through. This is a tough game to pick, and I could go any which way, and I'm going draw for this one as well.
Ooh, wow, that'd be a huge point for Graham Potter after that, just to
Yeah.
get some stability. You can't just be going from conceding 3 to scoring 3 to conceding 5 to scoring. You can't bounce back and forth and expect to keep your job at West Ham, who want to get back. Only a couple years ago, they were fighting for European silverware, and how far they have fallen against Crystal Palace, who have yet to be beaten this season. So a draw there would be a great point.
Next up, we have Wolves taking on Leeds United. Wolves are coming off a 1-0 loss to Newcastle in a game where it really looked like they might steal a point. Seems crazy to say. Newcastle just hasn't been on fine form as of late. In a close one with Barcelona, feels weird saying that after today. But Wolves
Weirder
are
than
the
saying
only...
Rashford scored for Barcelona.
Oh my God, he got a brace today. Wow. Wolves are the only team in the Premier League without a point. If there ever was a must-win game for a team this early on in the season, this game for Wolves at home against a team that everyone has picked to be a relegation team in Leeds United. Wolves have to win. If they don't win this game, I might just write it off now that they are going down. Like, fire Vitor Pereira, do something, but it's immediate panic mode if they don't win this game. Leeds United are coming off an absolutely devastating loss to Fulham. They were hanging on for 1 point, and then to lose by an outrageous own goal by Goodmanson. It just, go watch that if you haven't seen it. It's just such an unfortunate header into the top left corner from about 10 yards out. Oh my God.
Even the commentators were stunned that it went in.
Yeah.
It was like a pause by everybody when
Couldn't even believe it. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is still looking for his first goal for the club. I still think it's pretty insane that he is on Leeds United. I think he is going to get on the score sheet for the first time for his new club in this one, but I'm going to go 2-1 Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, a team that's conceded 9 goals in 4 games, that's his best chance for him to get onto the score sheet. A huge win for Wolves there to finally get something on the board. Manchester United also looking to get something on the board, but you can't talk United Chelsea without talking about the special one. And Fenerbahce fired Jose Mourinho about a week ago, and shortly afterwards, he gets picked up by Benfica, and now will be Benfica's manager, returning to the first club that employed him as senior manager. And Sky Sports decided to throw this up as the headline for the hire. Jose Mourinho, former Manchester United boss, agrees deal to return to Benfica after 25 years. Well, he was United's boss, it seemed like 25 years ago. He had one of his worst winning percentages at Manchester United in 8 clubs since being hired by Porto, where many of us first got to know Jose Mourinho. It is the 3rd worst winning percentages. Yes, he picked up the EFL Cup. Yes, he picked up the Europa League. But the fact that Sky
and
Sports...
got second.
And got second. Yeah, and his greatest accomplishment. That's true. His greatest accomplishment ever is getting second with Manchester United in that season that City won the Premier League in a canter. But the fact that Sky Sports is coming out and putting that as their headline when he has so much success in England with Chelsea, so much success in the European stage, manager of Real Madrid, Champions League winners with Porto, Champions League winner with Inter, treble winner with Inter. And that is the headline that they chose. Shows, again, how massive of a club Manchester United is and how much of a disgrace they currently are in. How in the world Ruben Amorim can be doing this to Manchester United. And yes, at this point, I'm starting to blame Amorim. We did a preview of the Manchester Derby where we go in depth about Ruben Amorim and Pep Guardiola, but in particular, Ruben Amorim and his stubbornness for the formation and the players that he is selecting. We will see if Lamens finally gets a shot here, as he did not play in the Manchester Derby. Bentancur did pretty well. No glaring mistake, which is obviously a plus for him. But to stick to this formation and to be so poor as a Manchester United team, as a club the stature of Manchester United, is a disgrace. And if you're Chelsea Football Club, you have to put them away. So you have to pick up all 3 points if you're Chelsea. Chelsea hasn't had a good time hunting at Old Trafford, but give me Chelsea with all 3 points and give me Ruben Amorim sacked by Christmas, because he can't keep doing this. He can't keep getting away with it. You have to change. You can't be a manager of Manchester United and go almost a calendar year in the job and be bottom of the table, 17 clubs in the Premier League over that time span, because you span 2 seasons.
Non-relegated teams.
Non-relegated teams, exactly. And they would finish bottom, below the likes of
Wolves and
Everyone, okay? They have been so poor, and something has to change. This is Manchester United we're talking about. This isn't a regular team. This isn't Brentford. This isn't Burnley. This isn't anybody. This is Manchester United. So give me 3 points and give me a Ruben Amorim to be sacked.
yeah, and Cole Palmer is just absolutely on fire. He looks back to the prime that he was hitting last season. I know he kind of had a shaky spell compared to what we were used to seeing. He was still great, don't get me wrong, but he's unplayable at the moment. He got almost 2 goals against Bayern Munich, one really good one, and then one that was
Slightly
slightly
offsides.
offside, but still, he just looks so good. I can't wait to see what he does in this one.
Yeah, I mean, all the media was saying he hasn't scored from free play since January. He hasn't scored from free play since January. They didn't count his 2 goals against PSG in a final, but that's
Destroyed the
fine.
best team in the world
Yeah.
in the Club World Cup final. Don't talk about that.
Exactly. Or the fact he's kind of battling with a little bit of an injury, but yeah, you could disregard all of that. He just scored against Bayern, almost another brace against Bayern. He shows up when it matters. Yeah, let's go with the Cole Palmer hat trick here. No,
The Sesko score his first goal.
Sesko will never score his first goal because United don't know what scoring looks like.
Fair enough. Next up, we got a West London derby in Fulham taking on Brentford. Who do you got in that one?
Yeah, another London derby here, and it's thrown amongst all of these big games. But this is a sneaky good game here. 11th versus 12th. Two teams looking to push up the table. I think Brentford, a lot of people had more towards the relegation fight this year with losing their manager, losing their captain, losing their best players in Wissa and Embuemo. But they've really been sticking around, able to get a late point there against Chelsea last week. And Fulham, trying to get everybody healthy. The biggest question for me for Fulham this weekend is, will Marco Silva start Emil Smith Rowe? The fact that he isn't starting, he was the engine of this team last year. He hasn't started yet in the Premier League. I don't believe that there's really any huge injury concern there. And so I am hoping that he will actually get the start here. I'm hoping that Kevin gets the start on the left-hand side there as well. The new Brazilian winger that they picked up, finally doing some transfer business late in the window. Both of them have been the catalyst to every goal that Fulham have scored. Emil Smith Rowe picking up that goal against Manchester United late. Emil Smith Rowe forcing the corner kick, Kevin forcing the corner kick that led to 2 late equalizers and game-winning goals so far in this season. So I'm hoping that they're going to be able to get the start. And if they do, I like Fulham to take all 3 points here at home. Otherwise, I think Brentford will get a chance here and we could see a draw. But give me Fulham all 3 points at home in West London.
I like it. Next up, we got Sunderland taking on Aston Villa in the Stadium of Light. Sunderland coming off a 0-0 draw. They will be happy to have stolen a point at Selhurst, which is always a tough place to play. Aston Villa are coming off a 0-0 draw against a solid Everton team, but they shockingly have not scored a goal yet in the Premier League. I heard a stat from Adam Cleary on ACFC. Go watch him and his content if you haven't seen his stuff. He's absolutely brilliant. I heard a stat, though, that they are the only team in England's top 7 divisions that haven't scored yet this season. Absolutely insane from how much of a powerhouse Aston Villa has been the last few years under Unai Emery. But Emery's got to change something. That he's just been found out as a manager. Teams know exactly how to stop him, and they're doing that, and they can't score. I don't know if he's going to change much or how long it's going to take. I do think that they're going to take all 3 points here. I don't think it's going to be more than a 1 or 2-0 game, but they will be happy that they're playing, no offense to Sunderland, but a newly promoted side to try to get some goals and get back on track. And I'm going to believe them for now.
Yeah, I mean, going into the season, you would have penciled this in as all 3 points for Villa, but one of these teams sits 7th and one of these teams sit 19th, and Sunderland's in 7th. So that's a very big surprise here. And at the Stadium of Light, we know Sunderland last year in the championship performed extremely well. If you take out the last 5 games where they kind of were stuck in the table and rotated a bunch of players to prepare for the playoff that they were locked into, they only lost 2 games all season in a very, extended 40-plus game championship season. Definitely a hard place to go and get some points here based on the form, but I would love to see Villa get on the board here and start getting firing and start moving themselves up the table like Bournemouth has. I mean, Bournemouth, everyone predicted them. They lost 3 out of their 4 back line. They lost lost their keeper. What's going to happen to Bournemouth? Well, they're going to sit fourth place on 9 points after as many games, with some very impressive wins over Tottenham and Brighton to boot. And it's all thanks to Semenyo. I mean, they could honestly be top of the table if they got some points out of that Liverpool game like they were going to towards the end of that game before 2 late Liverpool goals. They could be, sitting tied at 10 points with Liverpool atop the table. And who would have seen that after 4 game weeks? They welcome Newcastle with their brand new 6'6" striker in Voltamada. You know what the Stuttgart fans used to call him? Volta Messi. So I'll just go with that one. Much easier, rolls off the tongue a little bit, even though he's 6'6". But Voltamada didn't play against Barcelona in midweek when they lost 2-1. And the experiment with Gordon playing as the number 9, you can see it in the Premier League. You saw it again in the Champions League. It's just not working. You need a true number 9 if you're Newcastle, if you're Eddie Howe and playing in that system. And Voltamada is going to be that. I think he'll definitely get the start again. Alan Shearer is full of praise of him after his winner last week against Wolves with a giant header there to take all 3 points. I expect the same in this one. I actually have Newcastle going to Bournemouth and picking up all 3 points. And the main reason why is if you go back to the 23-24 season, last time Newcastle were in the Champions League, in the 6 group stage games that they played, they only lost 1 game immediately following the Champions League. They had 8-0 winner over Sheffield United. They had great games against Manchester United following a Champions League night. For some reason, it seems to energize this Newcastle team. The fact that you also got to rest Voltamada here in the midweek. He's going to get more training time. He's going to get more integrated with the team. You're going to get Gordon happy to be on the wing this time. Elanga is going to be
Gordon's still suspended, keep in mind.
Oh, Gordon's suspended. So even
he's
if
still serving his red card, yeah.
Oh, that's right, for the tackle against Liverpool. But, you have Elanga going on that right-hand side. He's going to be electric, providing service. Even if you push Barnes onto that left-hand side, I think it's going to be too much for Bournemouth. I like a late winner here, a close game. Pay respect to Bournemouth and Semenyo, but give me Newcastle to get all 3 points.
Yeah, I can see it, man. There's just so many great matches this week. I don't think I've ever seen a match week with this many competitive games and derbies and title implication games, Europa League implications.
Teams in and around the same position of the table,
Exactly. Yeah. And to finish it off, we got the best match of the weekend with the last match of the weekend. We got Arsenal taking on Manchester City at the Emirates. Arsenal are coming off a 3-0 win against Nottingham Forest. Zubimendi with 2 great goals and Gyökeres with another one to put him at 3 in just 4 matches. It's really funny to just look back a few weeks ago at Arsenal's opener at Old Trafford against United when everyone thought he was already a flop.
It's really Who's funny. Doing this? Ridiculous.
Not us. Arteta's game plan will be really interesting in this one after getting so much scrutiny at Anfield when he didn't really go at them, was happy to take the draw. This one's obviously at home, so I expect the game plan to be different. And I don't know if Arsenal can say they respect Manchester City's side as much as Liverpool. Liverpool's obviously flying right now, but it'll be really interesting to see what Arteta does. Historically, in the matchup against Pep Guardiola, he kind of sits back and doesn't go after the game. Manchester City are coming off an amazing 3-0 win against United. Haaland with one of his best matches in a City shirt and another brace. I think the highlight of the game for me was Pep finally played Kusanov at right back. I've been saying it since the Club World Cup. He needs to play him there. I know he's a natural center back, but he's miles better than Rico or Nunes defensively. And it was so good to see him finally there. He played there again today against Napoli in the Champions League. I know it's only been 2 games, but we haven't been scored on since he's played in the right back position. Donnarumma with a great game against United and a brilliant save on the Mbeumo volley. He was not bad with his feet, which was a concern in his City debut, and he was absolutely brilliant everywhere else. I think he could really be important for City on corner kicks. He looks so strong there, just punching the ball out and just fighting against challenges. Ederson, you could think of a specific example last year against Arsenal where Ederson gets bodied by Arsenal's bullying that they do on corner kicks and we get scored on. I might be jinxing this, but I really think Donnarumma on corner kicks is going to be really helpful for us in this matchup. Today, City beat Napoli 2-0. It was so good to see Kevin De Bruyne back at the Etihad. You're right. We talked about this earlier. City did let Kevin De Bruyne go and told him to go. Kevin De Bruyne wanted to stay, but the fans wanted him to stay. We would have happily kept KDB for 5, even 10 more years. He is an absolute club legend. And honestly, it made me really sad seeing him back there at the Etihad talking to all the guys. What a legend.
I mean, he's a club legend, just like Frank Lampard, So, I mean, I get
Absolutely.
it. I totally get it. Yeah.
He will get his statue. Despite City's loss against Brighton, I really think they've looked so much better since Rodri has returned to City's starting lineup. It was in this fixture last year, almost a year ago from this match, 364 days to be exact, where Rodri tore his ACL and City's whole season kind of went downhill. He's such an integral and huge part, the Ballon d'Or winner, such a huge part of our team. This will only be his 3rd Premier League start since that injury, and I can't wait to see him have a strong game in this one. City playing an unusual Thursday night in the UCL will be super annoying for Pep after Arsenal played on Tuesday. I really think this is going to be a great game. I want to pick Manchester City so badly. I'm going with a draw, though. I think it's going to be a tough game at Emirates, and honestly, we should be happy with a point.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest with you, even Arsenal, I could see happy with a point here. If you going into the season, obviously Arsenal, City, Liverpool, probably most people's top favorites for the Premier League. But Arsenal had in their first games a away trip to Old Trafford, always a tough place to go play, especially to kick off the season. A home game against Manchester City a little ways into the season to allow Rodri, like you mentioned, to start picking up form. An away trip to Anfield, obviously a huge game and a tough place to go play. And then a game against Forest, who a lot of people still had as a top half of the table team, a difficult team to play against, and who Arsenal dropped points against last year. To come through all of those games, win against United, a very close game against Liverpool, a point here. I do think Arsenal will pick up all 3 points here at home, but a point there, 3 points against Nottingham Forest is a great start to Arsenal's campaign if they can go ahead and go and push on to try and win the Premier League title. But let us know your picks and predictions here in the comment section below. Thank you very much for joining us here on Twin Football, because we give you our NFL, our Premier League picks every single week. So please come back and join us. And always remember, enjoy the football.